actually assess. And I have been very against using multiple choice questions to actually assess ethics or medical ethics education. So what I do is, I'm a geneticist, as you know, but I also teach medical ethics in our MBBS program for year 1 and year 2. And then we follow it up during the clinical years in years 3, 4, and 5 in Johor Bahru. That's where the Monash University Malaysia Clinical Campus is. So I'm based in Sunway, and you're very welcome to visit us. So we trialed this project. We call it the Values Exchange. We trialed this project a couple of years ago, and we implemented it from last year, mainly to assess year 1 medical ethics. Okay, so this is just one of the assessments we use, and I will just introduce this assessment to you. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so we call it Values Exchange, and what it is firstly an online platform. So this is a platform that is developed online, and as part of our Monash University Assessments Framework. So we have a framework for assessing the material that we deliver to the students as part of the educational experience and as part of our teaching. The third point we like about Values Exchange is that it is quite versatile. You can actually adapt it to almost any subject you want to teach. And it is also customizable. So I'm giving an example for bioethics, but you could customize it for anything else that you think this platform will be useful for you. The fourth point here is that we have trialed it, and we now use it for assessing the students that we teach, their understanding of ethical theories. So there is a whole lot of ethical theory. Okay, so if you're sort of more theorist, one wants to talk about virtue ethics, Aristotle, or maybe you want to take a Kantian approach, Immanuel Kant, and so on and so forth. So the ethical theories we actually expose our students to. We expose them to ethical principles. So in the biomedical world, we are very familiar with the 4 principles approach: autonomy, beneficence, non-beneficence, and justice, which can be also applied to other fields. And we try and teach them about issues that they have to deal with in their lives as students, and also later on in their practice as doctors and in the medical profession. So these are the requirements if one wants to set up an online platform. Firstly, of course, there must be an information technology and services network that you have access to within your institution, or university, or center. Secondly, access to PCs, either desktop ones. Nowadays, students have laptops. They have smart devices, such as handphones and so on. So it's really accessible through the IT devices. The third requirement is we have to have an administrator. Okay, so this is where a human resource person comes in. And this administrator will manage this values exchange system in terms of managing the teachers or the tutors that are in the system, the students, and can also be participants from anywhere, all right, with input and also responses. And the fourth is, of course, good internet connection. So this is in short requirement. Now the advantage of values exchange, I think, is that it can be done. Anyone can participate. Everyone can participate. As long as you are authorized, you are registered within the system that is set up. You can join a specific class. You can join a tutorial group, give responses to questions. You can bring up a topic of interest for discussion. You can even participate from anywhere. So the second point is from anywhere. You don't have to be confined to a classroom like we are now. You can do it at 12 midnight when you're sitting in bed in your pajamas and you've got a thought that you want to put into the system. Okay? Anywhere, really. And before that, please go back. The third point would be anytime. Right? So, you're not, but what we do for our assessment, will show you the time frame that we allow our students to do this exercise. So let's move to the next slide. Okay, so this is hypothetically our setup. And we have David Seedhouse, who's our administrator overall. And there's Sheila Majid. You all know Sheila Majid, the singer from Malaysia. I hope she is, but she's not. This is just hypothetical. Okay, so we have an ITS administrator up there. Down here, perhaps that's me. Of course, that's probably not me. As the content expert or the tutor or the assessor. Then we have my counterpart in Australia, Justin Oakley. He exists, but that's not his photograph. That comes with a Prezi format. It's all built in. I didn't change the photographs. And down here we have a panel of students or participants. Okay? And Daryl seems to be one of those. Another Daryl Nancy in a different part of the world. Claire Wong and Siti Noraida, for example. So this is the setup for the values exchange. Next, please. Okay, so just to take an example, this is an example which is actually what we're doing. So if we want to look at values and we're tying it to mid-level principles. Okay, so in this case here we have these 4 mid-level principles ranging from autonomy right down to justice. So those are the values that we have tried over the year to inculcate into the students. Then we have within the system a scenario and a proposition. Okay, so this is the scenario. The scenario is very much a medical one because we have medical school. And the scenario is this. The doctor tells Jenny, a depressed and terminally ill patient, that she has a 50-50 chance of recovery, even though all the tests confirm that she has only 6 months to live. This is the scenario. Yeah? And then the doctor knows from years of experience that if patients with this type of psychological profile are told the truth, there is a strong chance they will fall deeper into depression and possibly committing suicide. So that is the scenario before us, given this situation. Okay? And then the proposition. And what is the proposition here? It is proposed that the doctor is right to tell Jenny a white lie. That is the proposition. We are proposing the doctor lie to Jenny to say she has a 50-50 chance of recovery so that she won't go and do something silly or try and commit suicide. Okay, so that is what it is as a scenario and proposition. And we call this truth or therapy. Okay, so that's next one, please. Okay, so let's move on. So that's our website. You can go into http://monash.vxcommunity.com and have a look at the website. To get access, to be a participant, if you want to, let me know, email me, and I will try and see if I can get you access as an external interest person. All right? So here we have the first snapshot. I did this in Prezi, but I converted it to PowerPoint last night, and it might not be very clear, but nevertheless, I hope you can see. So once you get into the website, this is what it looks like. And you have the top issues where you can even do a poll. You can ask a question and do a poll. How many people would agree? How many people don't agree with this statement? You can speak out as a participant. You might feel, oh, you know, I feel that very strongly that Orang Asli children must be brought into the mainstream, for example. Okay? You can put that out on platform. And down there are just polls. We can take polls of questionnaires that are around bioethics and ethics. Next, please. So, once I go into the network, I register myself, I have a name, I have a password, I go into the network, the system recognizes me, it could be you, down here. So that's my logo, that's how I'm recognized. So that's more Phipps there on the left. And then we have the top issues that are going to be debated or undergoing debate or discussion. Okay, so I go into the system and I see that as a screen. Let's move on. So, once the system recognizes me, then it gives me access to 3 groups I'm already in. Okay, so I've been registered as part of my job in the Monash Malaysia Ethics 2017 cohort. These are the medical students we teach, and also two other projects. All right, but for the purposes of assessment, let's go to the next slide and we'll look at the first one. Okay, so I picked the first one, which the Monash MBBS program, and I go in there, and that is what the screen looks like. And there is the scenario on top about the doctor telling Jenny this and this and this, and then I participate in that by answering a series of questions within that. Okay, so that's one screen. Can we go to the next one? Okay, so here is the scenario. I don't know why it's shaking, but never mind. truth or therapy, and this is a response from one of my students. So this is Hadi. Hadi has done really well. He's finished semester 1 MBBS, now he's going to semester 2, medical student. And Hadi says, if you can read, shifting. Hadi says, I disagree strongly with this proposal. That is his statement within this system. And he says, he answers the question, and you can't actually see, but Hadi says the most important people in this scenario is the client and their family. So the system will give you a choice. It will ask you who is the most important person in this scenario. Is it the doctor that is most important? Is it Jenny that is most important? Is it the nurses there? Is it society? So it gives you choices and you pick your choices. He has picked the client, Jenny, and her family. And the system also asks, what are the reactions? So, sorry, it's just moving. What are the following best options for this? Okay, so he says, so now this is the student actually giving a response. What he feels are very important. So the doctor is to provide a role that is effective in working with the patient and so on and so forth. So the first response will be whether you agree or you disagree with the proposal. And the justification why you are saying that. So rather than just an MCQ, multiple choice, or a short answer type, it makes the student think through and justify why they are giving the response they gave. Okay, so that is the whole thing. Next one, please. If I like, I can also look at how my whole group responded. So our tutorial groups are small, 20 to 30. We have 130 medical students in total for year 1. Tutorial groups. So if I want to look at just how the group has responded, I can choose an option where I can see how many of them agreed to the proposal, how many disagree. A quick poll that gives me an idea of the group. Alright? And this is just an example of looking at the group response. And all these dots here, are different people responding. So on the computer, you can see on the screen who has responded and what the response has been to that particular scenario and the proposal. Next, please. You can also see whether or not within that group of 30, 130, 1,300, however many you want people in that group, whether there has been consensus or there has been dissent. So in this case, 73% agreed the white lie to be told. There's a consensus. Only 27% said I disagree, where I must tell the truth and not lie. Okay, so we can do that within this framework. Next, please. And when we look at the results, we can choose to look at the results in terms of the demographics. Within that group, how many are Chinese? Within 130, for example. How many who had identified themselves as Chinese? How many identified as Malay, Indian, Aboriginal, or Torres Strait Islanders, and so on? We can look at the response by demographic. We can look at the response by qualification. How many of them are standard 6 education level, primary school? How many university? How many postgraduate degree? What? And so on and so forth. So whatever you put into the system, later on will be able to be there, and you can actually search and look at what the answer has been according to what type of individual. Alright, so that's... And after we've done all that, and after the students have given all their responses and typed into the system, then we use a marking rubric. Now we have to examine and give them a mark. Right? And this is done, this is an example I'm sharing with you. For that particular exercise or assessment, it is a maximum of 3 marks that we give. If the student did not participate in this exercise, they can choose not to. Nowadays, you can't force students to do anything. If they choose not to do it, or they only say yes or no, nothing else, that's 0. That's unsatisfactory. Now, if the student or the participant has participated and they have thought through all the questions and made an attempt to answer those questions, we give them 1 mark, a pass. Now, if they have gone beyond those questions and given their own reasons and added on to the understanding of those principles that they use to answer that question, that they use to base their answer, then they get the credit. Alright, that's 2 marks. And finally, we have a distinction that's worth 3 marks, where there's a lot of understanding as to what a doctor-patient relationship looks like, consideration of maybe Jenny's ethnicity, whether or not in certain ethnic groups, the truth is something you reveal to family as well as the individual. So there's a deeper understanding of not only ethics, but also different societies, that they will get a distinction. Right? So we're using this to do this assessment. Next one, please. So typically, this is just hypothetical, I'm showing you, you can actually chart the scores. So some people might get 0, some might get 1, some 2, and you get some that get 3 as well. And I'm very, very happy actually, because initially we thought they won't really know very much, but when we did this exercise, there were quite a number getting 2s and 3s, and it shows to us as educators, I suppose, that a bit of what we're trying to teach them seems to have worked, alright, and they are actually thinking about it. So you can get the scores as well. Next one. And this is a timeline we're using, alright, so in semester 1, which is like, 3 months, they get the lectures, they get the tutorials, and so on, and then we open this system for 2 weeks. Anytime during that 2 weeks, they can go into the system. They can do it from Starbucks, they can do it from maybe the kampong where they're back home doing something, anywhere. Go into the system, do that exercise, and at the end of it, the tutors get another 2 weeks to actually evaluate their response and give them a final mark for that ethics module, be it year 1 or year 2 or whatever. Okay, so that's sort of the flow. And that's all I have to say and share with you all. I'd be happy to take questions. Selamat Hari Raya to those celebrating. And that's my talk.
Thank you. Are there questions or comments?
I have one. Are the students are informed about the marking rubrics?
Yes, they are. Yeah, we're very transparent in Monash. They know there's nothing to hide really from them. They are informed. Yeah.
And what do they think?
What do they think about the rubric? We haven't had complaints, so I suppose they're all right about it. Yeah.
We also have in UKM, we have what we call the iFolio system, because there is a compliance here that you need to be, how do you call it, iFolio compliance or something like that. And at the end of the semester that you need to upload your slides and have some discussion and tasks and all that. And the students are also expected to participate in those. And we are supposed to have, I think minimum, we go up to about 30-50% grading on iFolio activities, means online activities.
Okay.
One of the things that we find here is you find cut and paste work. You know, I mean, the question can be a bit challenging, but what students normally do is they will cut and paste somewhere and paste it. You know? So how do you actually counter that?
Okay. That's another great website we have. It's called Turnitin.
Yeah, we have it here as well.
Yeah, so the tutors who get long litanies will quickly do a select, run it through Turnitin. Yeah, that's one way we check for plagiarism and this cut and paste job. But I'm quite happy to say that we don't hardly have any cut and paste with this system. It's a bit more robust. It's a little bit more robust. It's guided, so it becomes more robust. It's not a free-for-all, what is autonomy? It's not those sort of questions, because that can be cut and paste till kingdom come. But we do use Turnitin also to check that there's, try to keep this problem. And Monash takes plagiarism very seriously. So yeah, they are told that we will take it seriously and they will be penalized if they do that sort of thing.
Penalized in which way?
Sorry?
Penalized in what way?
Well, I suppose they will get a so far we've had I've personally been involved in 2 cases of this, plagiarism, where there's been a disciplinary committee set up at university level. And you get the student themselves who has been plagiarizing, and you get the head of the school, and there is a university committee as well. And it's brought up. So they do get a warning or they get suspended. That's possible. You may know that our Vice Chancellor of Monash University many years ago, Robinson, was actually dismissed from being a Vice Chancellor because 20 years ago he had actually used 2 lines from some other journal in his paper. 20 years ago. And yeah, our system is like pretty much very strict, probably the strictest in Australia, I'm not sure. But it's taken very seriously by lecturers as well as students. Yeah. So we advise students from year 1, use Turnitin before you submit your assignment. We want to see that Turnitin report, and we are allowing, of course, about less than 10%, because certain things you cannot, the same words and everything, it will pick it up.
Here
right?
we go up to 20%.
Yeah, so we initially started with 20, now we've pushed it to 10, especially for the graduate work.
Any other comments or questions? People have measured values themselves? Thank you very much.